Hello, my garden friends. This is Jersey Shore Lisa with MyNJGarden.com. In 2009, I double dug my first veggie garden bed at my first MyNJGarden.com property in Beechwood, New Jersey. Since then, I have planted and raised thousands of plants, both annuals and perennials. I've learned a lot and developed both annual veggie beds and perennial food forest growing systems. During that time, permaculture, regenerative practices, soil health, they have become dear to my heart, and I've learned so much about them. Just because you've been planting for a long time, over a decade, doesn't mean you know all there is to know about gardening or farming, and I learn new things every year. I just wanted to share with you a few of the things that I learned this season, mistakes you might be able to avoid, and things you may not have known before. Let's take a look. If you think you would like to have a garden path that is actually humanly passable throughout the entire season, when you are preparing your gardens in the early spring, keep perennials well back, at least a foot or two from the path, from the edges of the path. If not, they may look very cute coming up in early spring, right up against the path, but this is what happens by August. I'll deal with it. I love the blooms and so do the pollinators, but if you want a path you can walk down, make sure the perennials begin at least a foot or two inside the edges of the path. If you live in an area where squash vine borers are a problem for squash, pumpkins, zucchini, all those family of plants, then you'll want to look for squash vine borer resistant varieties to plant. I can tell you that gugoots or cuckoozy squash is squash vine borer resistant. I haven't had luck with a single other type of squash this year. I do think I have a butternut coming up somewhere along the property, but I know that these have been thriving all season. The gugoots, they laugh at the squash vine borer. Container grown vegetables do not do well if grown without fertilizer. They just don't. No matter how well it does in the beginning of the season, the plant looks huge and green and beautiful. You must fertilize with some kind of an organic fertilizer. I would say at least every 2 weeks. This is a tomato plant that has only been fertilized twice this summer. It started off looking great, and there are some tomatoes on it which somehow do not have blossom end rot. Though I have no idea how they're doing that because the plant looks tragic. I have been keeping up with watering, but there's just not enough nutrients to support what's got to go on that massive plant. Fertilize container grown vegetables. When planting marigolds in the garden beds for pest control purposes or just to bring pollinators, I suggest planting them outside of your garden bed. They take up a tremendous amount of space if they're happy and they're growing well, even the dwarf varieties. In the beginning, you put them in, they are these tiny little plugs, but by the end of the season, they're as big as a zucchini plant. They take up a lot of space. Plant them just outside the garden bed, and you'll have more room for veggies inside the garden bed. If you don't make time to weed during the growing season, don't complain when your veggie beds are overrun by weeds by the end of August. That's what's happening here. So I've got to suck it up, Buttercup, and weed my beds. If you're trying to edge some piece of your property alongside of a sidewalk or a driveway like this, and you don't have a gas-powered edger or something that is effective at cutting through thick turf, really the easiest way, the most efficient way, and I've tried many different tools, is to use this, a sharp spade, flat spade. That is the best way to do it. You go from the grass side and you put the blade parallel to the edge of your driveway, and then you stomp in and cut through that sod, and then you go all along that edge, and then you'll be able to pull up a nice clean strip, and it won't be excruciating. You won't tear the crap out of your turf. That's the best way to do it. Thank you for joining me, garden friends. I hope you subscribe to the channel and join me for all my garden updates. Please like the video, and thanks for watching. Have a great day.